Bill.
Oye, Bill.
Check out this memo.
El jefe
The
quiere
boss
que
wants
nos
us to put
juntemos
together
para
a
hacer una
presentation on 1987 new model service features. I already got enough stuff to do, and now we got to mess around with this.
No sweat. I've done these before. All we got to do is get new information from the different engineering groups and then put our presentation together. Actually, it's not bad because we get an early shot at seeing what's new and we get to meet the people who actually do much of the engineering.
Do you have any idea of exactly what we have to find out?
Well, I know for a fact that we need information on body and chassis features, engine and emission features, electrical and climate control features, and diesel engine features. Tell you what, why don't we get right on this? It's not late. Maybe we can see some of the people today that we need to talk to. Why don't you get a car, and I'll start calling around and set some appointments up in the different engineering groups.
Sounds good to me. Are you sure we can get in to see these people today?
No problem. I know most of them.
Great.
Okay, fine. Yeah, see you this afternoon. Okay, thanks. You got the car?
All set. Did you get a hold of the people we have to see?
Going to see 2 this morning and 2 this afternoon. Now that ought to at least get us started on the material we need to look into. We're going to start over in body engineering with Larry Jones. He's one of the engineers over there. I was just talking to him, and he said they have a lot of mock-ups and props of the new 87 features. They use them at press shows and conferences. Now, maybe we can use some of those in our presentation, but he said they're just packing them up, so we better get over there.
Okay.
Let's see. Larry.
Oh, hi, Bill.
Hi, Larry. This is my assistant, Joe. This is Larry.
Joe?
Larry?
You two got here just in time. We're just getting ready to pack up all of our 87 model displays for an advanced press showing. And I imagine the people in the other engineering groups are doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think you're right. The people I talked to told us to come for a review as soon as we could.
Wow, I really like these displays. And I hear the cars and trucks look just great. Well, where do you want to start?
Why don't we start in the next room? I think I have something here that'll surprise you.
Nice.
Well, why don't we start out with the sheet metal changes that we'll be seeing on the cars and the light trucks this year. As you can see, we're keeping up with our aerodynamic styling and clean lines. The Mustang, Thunderbird, and Cougar are going to get the aero headlights that are similar to those used on the Mark 7. Also, the Thunderbird Turbo Coupe is equipped with functional hood scoops to aid in getting fresh air to the intercooler that's used on the 2.3-liter turbo this year. The F-Series trucks are also getting quite a facelift this year with a new style sloping hood and aero headlights. We've got one in the next room. Why don't we take a look? Here it is.
I really like the looks, Larry. But didn't I hear that the Turbo Coupe, all F-Series trucks, the Bronco and Bronco 2, are getting an anti-lock brake system as standard equipment this year?
Well, that's correct, but these are 2 different systems. The Turbo Coupe is getting a system that controls all 4 wheels. The anti-lock brake system on the trucks controls only the rear wheels. In fact, I was just packing up the display that shows how they work. Come on, we'll look at the light trucks first. Now, the system is designed to isolate rear brake pressure from the driver and dump any excess brake pressure. There are 3 major components in the system. The computer module, mounted underneath the dashboard, the electro-hydraulic brake proportioning valve, mounted on the left front frame rail, and the speed sensor, mounted in the differential housing. Say, the machine tells the whole story about how it works. Let's try it out before we send it to the show.
Introducing the 1987 Ford light truck rear anti-lock brake system. Ford is pleased to present this new product feature as standard equipment on selected 1987 vehicles. This addition to the truck brake system will offer improved vehicle braking performance and directional stability during severe or panic stopping on almost all road surfaces, regardless of the vehicle loading. This is how the system works. A speed sensor is mounted on the rear axle carrier over a multi-tooth exciter ring which is mounted next to the ring gear. When the exciter ring teeth pass the sensor pole piece, a voltage is induced in the sensor coil. The frequency of this induced voltage is proportional to the average rear wheel velocity. The sensor signal is fed into the electronic control module for processing. The module is located in the passenger compartment. When the vehicle brakes are applied, The module, which contains a high-speed microprocessor, uses the sensor signal to update the rear axle speed data at a rate of over 200 times per second. If the module determines that the rear axle is slowing down too fast, an indication that the rear wheels will soon be locked up, the module goes into action by sending appropriate control signals to the dual solenoid valve connected in the rear brake line between the master cylinder and the rear wheel cylinders and located on the left frame rail. This valve is really two valves in one. It contains an isolation valve and a dump valve. The module also monitors the master cylinder reservoir fluid level switch and causes the system to be deactivated with low fluid. The module is constantly looking for system faults during vehicle operation. All of the principal system components, including the module itself, are checked and rechecked. If a fault is found, the system is deactivated. When the system deactivates itself for any reason, a yellow rear anti-lock light is lit on the instrument panel to alert the driver. When the yellow light is on, the vehicle brake system reverts back to normal brakes, just as though the system was not there.
Well, that's great, Larry, but what about diagnostics on this system? Does it have a self-test function we should know about?
Yes, we do have a self-test on this system, and it displays codes on the instrument panel anti-lock light. There are a few important points, though, that you should be aware of, and these are fully detailed in the brake section of the shop manual.
Are there any differences between F-Series or Bronco and Bronco 2?
Yes, there are. The Bronco 2 system component location is different from the F-Series and the full-size Bronco. It has the control module and the diagnostic pigtail located in the left quarter panel just behind the driver's door. And the electro-hydraulic brake proportioning valve is on the left frame rail above the rear axle. While we're here on the F-Series truck, I want to mention to you that we're using new axle and spindle assemblies that make caster and camber adjustments very easy. Let's look at the other display before it gets packed up. In the past, our caster hasn't been adjustable. But now with these replaceable camber caster adjusters, we simply have to release the pinch bolt right here and move the adjuster to alter caster and camber. Plus, there are 3 different adjusters available in 1/2 degree, 1 degree, and 1.5 degree increments to allow for really precise adjustments. These adjusters allow us to fine-tune the front wheels to allow increased caster for down-the-road stability and decreased camber for improved tire wear.
Is there a specification change for 1987 4x2 trucks?
Yeah, the caster is increased 1 degree, and the camber is decreased 1/2 degree.
These adjusters look like something that'll make the technician's job a lot easier.
They sure will. And here's something that's going to make the truck ride quieter with less vibration. It's the hydroelastic engine mounts that we'll be using on the light trucks this year. These are special liquid-filled mounts that are designed to absorb engine-related vibration. Ford is the first domestic manufacturer to use them, and the first company to use them on a worldwide basis. Now, let me show you the anti-lock brake system on the Turbo Coupe. The anti-lock brake system used on the Turbo Coupe is very similar to the one that's been used on the Mark 7. Its only notable differences are the harness connector at the module, which has gone from 35 pins to 32 pins, and the addition of self-test capabilities. Oh, here's something on the Turbo Coupe that I know will interest you, Bill. Programmable ride control.
Programmable ride control? What's that?
I think I can best explain it over here. Well, let's take the cover off this display and I'll show you.
Okay.
It's a special system which provides a much firmer ride than normal to allow for better control during hard turns, heavy braking, and acceleration. On the inside of the shock are electric solenoids which change the internal valving of the shock or the strut from plush to firm via a command from the module that controls the system or from the driver through a switch mounted on the dash. The switch gives the driver the option of selecting the firm mode or allowing the programmed ride control module to do it automatically.
Larry, could you give us a little more information on how the system switches automatically from plush to firm?
Well, the module switches from plush to firm when there's a stress of approximately 0.3 of a G. It determines when this force is met through a variety of sensors, which include the speed sensor on the transmission to input vehicle speed, the acceleration signal from the EEC4 processor, which signals engine speed, the steering sensor at the base of the steering column, which detects sudden movements in steering wheel rotation, and the brake sensor on the master cylinder, which detects sudden hard braking. You know, unless you're a hot rod, when this is an automatic, probably 95% of the time it's going to be in plush ride.
Yeah, but when you need extra control, it'll be there.
That's right. Now the next thing I'm going to show you may be a little bit of a surprise. Have you guys heard about the all-wheel drive Tempo Topaz?
All-wheel drive Tempo?
Yeah, I heard something about that. I'm glad to hear it's available for 87.
Come on, let's go check it out.
Well, how do you like that? A 4x4 Tempo.
Is it full-time all-wheel drive, or can it be shifted from front-wheel drive to all-wheel drive?
Joe, it's normally a front-wheel drive, and it can be shifted to all-wheel drive. I'll explain how it works after you've seen the major components. Let's start with the transfer case. It replaces the oil pan and bolts to the bottom of the transaxle. Then we've got the drive shaft, which is a two-piece unit that extends from the transfer case to a limited slip rear differential, which is here mounted to the rear cross member. From the differential, there are two half shafts that go to drive the rear wheels. Now the whole system is operated by a selector switch on the instrument panel. When it's in the all-wheel drive position, it activates a vacuum servo on the side of the transfer case that engages the input gear. It's right here underneath this cover. Once the input gear is engaged, power is transmitted to the rear wheels. We set the system up so that the differential and the transfer case are all freewheeling at the same speed as the front wheels. So the system can be shifted to all-wheel drive on the fly with no problem at all.
Larry, what's used as the vacuum source for the servo?
It's manifold vacuum, Bill. You can see the vacuum reservoir right here.
In looking at this display, I can't see all that much difference in the layout of the car underneath, except for the new components.
Well, there really isn't that much difference. There are no sheet metal changes resulting from the all-wheel drive concept. We do have a change, though, in the fuel tank and sending unit, which have unique designs to accommodate the all-wheel drive components. Well, now you've seen the all-wheel drive Tempo Topaz. How about taking a look at our passive restraints, which will be standard equipment on the 1987 Escort and Lynx, except for the EXP. You know something? We're the first domestic producer to offer this system, and it really works nice. When you open the door and get into the seat, the belt is fully loosened. Now, as soon as the ignition is turned on and the door is closed, the motor-powered shoulder belt moves back to lock you in. That's why it's called passive restraint. The driver or the passenger doesn't have to do anything. It's all done automatically. As soon as the door is opened, the shoulder belt automatically moves forward to allow you to get out, unless the inertia switch has been activated due to an impact. And in that case, the belt stays in position and will not retract if the door is opened.
What about a lap belt? Is that passive restraint also?
No, that has to be buckled and unbuckled normally.
But what happens if you're in the car, open the door, and the belt won't let you out?
Well, there's a release lever located on the center console that allows the belt to spool out. When this happens, a light on the console flashes, a light on the instrument panel flashes, and a warning chime rings for about 6 seconds. There's another thing to be aware of, too. If the system should get hung up, the motor will shut down after 7 seconds, and the light on the instrument panel will begin to flash, warning the driver that something's wrong.
Will the belt allow any movement, or are you strapped in tight?
Oh, no. You have two inertia lock retractors that allow movement similar to a conventional seatbelt shoulder harness arrangement.
Very interesting. You know, it's nice to see we've got something that makes safety equipment convenient instead of something you have to remember to put on. That's good. I like that. Well, Joe, we got to get to our next appointment. We're going to have to wrap this up, Larry, unless there's something else you want to fill us in on.
No? Not unless you've got any more questions. You've seen all the new features that our group has put together for 1987.
Thanks, Larry. I'm sure we'll be calling you with some questions.
My pleasure. No problem. See you guys.
Okay, see you.
Where to next?
Engine and emission controls over in Building 2. Walt McDonald, how you doing?
Hello, Bill.
Walt, this is my assistant Joe. This is Walt.
Glad to meet you, Joe.
Walt?
Have a seat. Well, I hear you need some info on our 87 engines and emissions.
Sure do, Walt. What's the latest for 1987?
Well, we've got some changes. Plus, we've added fuel injection to some engines that haven't had it before. We can start out with our engine changes. Most of the engines are carryover from last year with some improvements. I'll hit the high points that are most evident. This year, you won't see any Escort or Lynx models with a carburetor. We've gone completely fuel injection. So you'll see a CFI unit on the base 1.9 liter, and we'll also continue to offer an EFI version too. We've also done a few things to improve the performance, like add roller tappets, a new cam, and improved head design. The 2.3-liter turbo engine used in the turbo coupe is getting an air-to-air intercooler that's used to decrease the temperature of the air charge going from the turbocharger to the engine. It does this by taking outside air from the hood scoops and passing it over its cooling surface to dissipate heat. By cooling air before it reaches the engine, we get a dense, oxygen-rich air charge into the combustion chamber, resulting in a performance improvement. Another improvement on the turbo coupe that you'll be interested in is the two-fan system. We came up with this system to guard against overheating. We've also got another 2.3-liter EFI application that's new in the car line this year, but isn't new to the company. It's the same one that we've been using in the Ranger since '85. Oh yeah, and we've also got 2 different 5-liter SEFI versions this year. One's pretty much a carryover from last year, but the second one, available in the Mustang, has got quite a few modifications. Here, let me show you in this cutaway. Here we are. We've got a new free-breathing combustion chamber that features improved air and exhaust flow to increase combustion efficiency, and also forged pistons, which feature a new design dish and 9-to-1 compression ratio. Plus, we changed the induction system around somewhat to increase the airflow for improved performance. Well, that's about it for the car engines. Let's talk trucks for a minute. This year, we even put fuel injection on the 4.9-liter 6-cylinder engine. It's an EFI system with 6 fuel injectors mounted on a single fuel rail. The throttle body is a new 2 Venturi style that's used only on this engine. It also uses a throttle linkage. It's quite similar to the 5-liter truck version. And there's another new item I want to show you for '87, and it's right over here in this cabinet. This is the new Asian carburetor that's used on the 2-liter Ranger engine. Service procedures and some special tools are different for this particular carburetor, so it's important to be familiar with it before trying to service it. Also, and this is something different, it has a float bowl sight glass for checking float level without removing or disassembling the carburetor.
Say, Walt, can you adjust the float level without disassembling it?
No, you have to disassemble it for that. You can just check float level without removal and disassembly. Now that we got that out of the way, I'd like to talk to you about changes in the EEC4 system. We'll start with a new strategy that we're using for the 5-liter engines. It's called idle maintenance strategy. It's designed to improve extended idle when the engine's in park or neutral. In this strategy, the processor increases idle speed and retards spark. This results in lower engine temperatures and also improved drivability after extended idle. Also, the FMEM strategy is now available in all EEC4 applications.
FMEM? What's that?
Failure mode effects management. It's when the ECA substitutes a good sensor signal for one that's failed. It lets the engine keep running so that you can get it to a dealer for service. We've used it on some cars before, but now we're extending its use.
Very good. So you are aware of that. Have you heard about the check engine light we'll be using in '87 cars sold in California?
No.
The check engine light is on the instrument panel and comes on whenever there's a sensor circuit failure and the processor goes into the FMEM strategy. The sensor circuit must be repaired before the light will go off. We've also had about a dozen procedural changes in the self-test. We've got all of these covered in the H manual and also in the '87 new model engine and emission control books. So you should point that out.
It sounds to me like you're saying you can't be sure what codes are good between applications or from year to year.
You're right. A specific code in continuous memory might not have the same meaning as the same code in the key-on engine running mode. Also, a certain engine on a certain application may have specific code meanings that vary from year to year. We're always trying to make improvements, so it's very important to encourage service personnel to always consult the H manual and not try to guess on past experience. Here's an example. You may remember in the past, codes 14 and 18 tended to be irregular and were often ignored. On '87 cars and light trucks, these codes are accurate indications of the ignition diagnostic monitor and the profile ignition pickup conditions and should be treated as such. So you see, we make these changes as an improvement to diagnostics, not to trip someone up. All we ask is that the H manual always be consulted to assure correct diagnostics.
That makes sense. Do you have anything else to say about self-test procedure changes?
No, I think that about covers self-test procedures. But I do want to mention that the location of the MAP and BP sensors has changed on most of the 87 engines. The change was made to avoid fuel migration and water condensation problems in the vacuum lines. On models where we didn't change their location, we mounted them horizontally to achieve a downhill slope to the vacuum lines. Well, fellas, I think that about covers the changes for engines and emissions in 87. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I don't think so, Walt. You've been a big help.
No doubt about that, Walt. Thanks a lot.
Well, we've got to get over to Diversified Products now to get information on electrical and climate control features. Thanks a lot, Walt.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you, Joe.
Hello.
I'm back here. Come on in.
Hi, we're looking for Jill Hayes. She's supposed to give us a rundown on the electrical and climate control features.
That's me. You must be Bill Turner and Joe Weber.
You have it. I'm Joe, and this is Bill.
Nice to meet you. Well, this year I don't have an awful lot to show you, mostly just some instrument panel changes and some changes in our audio systems. We can start out with the new dash that's going to be in the 87 F-Series and Bronco. It's got the electromechanical instrument panel containing magnetic gauges that remain in their operating positions even when the engine is off. We used them last year on the Mark 7 LSC and also on Taurus Sable. One of the beauties of this instrument panel is that the cluster is made up of sub-assemblies that can be removed from the front for easy service and replacement. The standard instrument cluster for the F-Series and Bronco has the normal gauges, plus the anti-lock brake light, and in California packages, the check engine light. The Bronco 2 instrument cluster, although it looks different, has the same components. The optional electromechanical instrument cluster for F-Series and Bronco also has magnetic gauges, anti-lock brake light, and check engine light, but we've given it a tachometer and trip odometer. The Mustang GT instrument cluster has a different layout, but has a similar electromechanical cluster. I have one right over here. The Mustang GT is getting a multiple function warning indicator that indicates low oil, low coolant, low fuel, and low washer fluid conditions. The lamps prove out every time the car is started, and they'll come on in a low fluid condition.
How low is low?
Come again?
Well, how low does the fluid level have to be before the lights come on?
Oh, well, let's see. Oil would be about 1 to 1.5 quarts low. Fuel is below 1/8 of a tank. Coolant is below the cold fill line, and washer fluid is below 1/3 of the reservoir capacity. You have to remember these are approximate, so you can't be exact on measurements like these.
That's understandable. I really like these. Sharp-looking package. Very well done. What's next?
Well, let's see. Mustangs are going to get electronic search radios as an option. The premium sound model will get a graphic equalizer and 6 speakers. 2 of them will be in a new location, inside the rear hatch walls of the liftgate of the 3-door. On the 2-door, they're located in the rear package tray. This year, we've added a compact disc player to the Ford JBL audio system. It's an exclusive feature on the 87 Town Car. This system's got 12 speakers and 140 watts of power.
It looks like a really nice setup.
Nice. It's a rolling concert hall when you've got one of these. Ford's the first domestic auto company to offer CD as a factory-installed option.
Does it still have the cassette tape player, too?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Only we've added the Ford compact disc player to the Ford JBL audio system. Let's see. I think that's about it. We don't have any major changes in climate control, but we added the integrated relay control module to the Turbo Coupe this year. It's mounted on the same bracket as the BP sensor, and it's got a new connector. You might remember that we used this module on the Taurus Sable models, and it had 2 connectors. This year, it's a single connector with 24 pins. Well, gentlemen, you've seen the more important and visible changes we've made this year. Are there any questions I can answer?
I don't have any. How about you, Joe?
Nope.
Well, then we've got to get over to North American Automotive Operations. Talk to our man there about diesels. Thanks for your time and help, Jill.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Hey, John. Hi, Bill. How are you doing?
Hi.
Look what we got here.
Who's this guy with you? How you doing, Joe?
After today, not too bad. We got a lot of good information. So you're the guy elected to show us the 87 diesel changes.
That's right. We've had quite a few, too, but just a couple of major ones that are real important to service. Let's start with the 2-liter engine. It's undergone a complete re-engineering. It may look the same, but the block, head, pistons, injectors, and other major components are not interchangeable with the earlier engine. The most noticeable change is the addition of EGR, which we added to help us meet new government emission standards for NOx. To meet the standards, we've added a dual EGR system, which is unlike any that have been used by Ford. Because of the use of EGR, we've had to make some changes. One of the major changes is in pre-combustion chambers. We've gone from stainless steel to ceramic type. The ceramic type can stand and maintain higher combustion chamber temperatures to help burn off particulates. The use of the ceramic pre-combustion chambers changes service procedures because they can't be removed like the old ones. Also, because of the addition of EGR, we've had to go to a new treated piston. The new treatment is made of alumite, a special heat-resistant alloy that's placed on top of the piston. Service procedures on the piston haven't changed because of this treatment.
John, does the addition of EGR and the re-engineering of the engine affect performance or mileage?
No, not significantly. We still expect to be one of the mileage leaders in 1987 with the 2-liter diesel.
Okay, but what about diagnostics on this system?
Well, obviously, we've had to develop a complete new diagnostic program for this, especially since it's electronically controlled. It's all in the H manual.
Good. Well, what else have you got for us?
On the 6.9 truck engine, we've taken a major step by developing a solid-state glow plug system. The controller is all solid-state now, so we've eliminated some of the relays and other extra components that were required on the old system. It's also changed the diagnostics completely. You'll find the new diagnostic procedure for this system in the H manual. We've changed the design of the glow plugs, too. They now have a bullet-type terminal instead of the old spade type. And let's see. Oh, one more thing I should mention is the new rocker arm design. It's been changed to an integral design that provides increased durability.
How about the 2.3-liter turbo diesel? Any significant changes there?
No, not really. We've got a new solenoid on the fuel injection pump, different injectors, and a revised glow plug bus bar. And believe it or not, those are the major changes on the diesels that you should be aware of.
Okay, that's fine with us, John. I guess we better wrap it up, Joe. You think we got enough information for our presentation?
I think so. Thanks for your help, John. The information that we got from you and all of the engineers from the specific groups should be just what we need to tell the story on the 1987 new model features. Now, we got to get back to the office and put all this together for our presentation. Thanks a lot, John.
You're welcome.
We'll see you, John.
Okay, take care now.